Hello, in this video, we'll continue building the login system. In the last video, we created the API using API Gateway. Now we'll use the API for the login menu. Open the Unreal Engine project. Go into the login menu widget and switch to the designer view. Make sure that all the components in the confirm widget are anchored to the center. Then change the style of the confirm button to use button 1 idle in the normal state. Use button 1 active for the hover and press states. Do the same for the resend button. For the cancel button, use button 2 idle for the normal state, and button 2 active for the hover and press states. In the sign up widget, for the sign up button, use button 1 idle in the normal state. For the hover and press states, use button 1 active. For the sign in button, use button 2 idle for the normal state. And button 2 active for the hover and press states. Now switch into the graph mode. Then rearrange the node so it's more readable. Compile and save the changes. If we go back to the designer mode, the switch to sign in widget button is part of the sign up widget, and the switch to sign up widget button is part of the sign in widget. So we can go back to the graph mode and separate each part like this. If you do not know how to do this, select the nodes you want to group by left-clicking and holding on the empty spot near the nodes you want to select. Then drag until you select all the nodes you want. Once the nodes are selected, press the C key on the keyboard. This will create a box around the selected nodes. Now that we divided the nodes using this method, grab a reference to the sign up button and place it under the sign up widget section. Then attach a click event to it. When we click on the sign up button, we want to create an account. Call the make a HTTP request node. Then select post in the method dropdown, since that's the method type we define in the API gateway for creating accounts. For the URL, go to your API Gateway console and select the API that was created. Click on the Stages menu on the left, then select the stage name for the API you deployed earlier. Copy the invoked URL and place it in the URL text field for the node. Make sure that there's no spaces in the beginning of the URL. If we take a look at all the resources we defined, we want to use the sign up one since that's the one we created to execute the create account lambda. So at the end of the URL, we want to put / sign up. For the params pin, it's just an empty map. For the headers, we want to set the content type to application/JSON. This will tell the request that we're sending a JSON object. For the body, we want to create a JSON object using the append node for strings like this. The open curly bracket in slot A represents the start of the JSON object. The closing curly bracket in slot D represents the end of it. For slot B, we want to send the username for the account using whatever we typed in the input field. To do this, use another append node for strings. For slot A, put open quote, username, close quote, colon, and open quote. The reason why it is username is because if we take a look at our create account lambda, we're expecting some data called username and password. For slot B, we want to use the value we get from the sign up email input field. Then add a new pin, and append a closing quote, followed by a comma since each value in the JSON object is separated by a comma and we're still in need of the password. Attach this to slot B of the original append node. For the password, copy the nodes for the username. Replace the sign up email reference with sign up password. Use password for slot A. Then remove the comma in slot C since we're not adding another value to the JSON object. Attach it to slot C of the original append node and set it as the body of the request node. For the onComplete callback, click and hold on it, then drag on an empty spot. Select Add Event, then add Custom Event. To test if everything is working, call the print string node after the callback and print the response string. Go up to the Sign Up Widget section and connect the nodes. Compile, save, and open the login level. Now launch the app. If you're planning to use the same email you used earlier, make sure you delete the account incognito first. Now in Unreal Engine, click on the Sign Up button and enter the email and password for the account. Click Sign Up. If you see a 200 response code, it means it was successful. And if you go back to Incognito, the account should be there. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll see how to confirm the account using the UI. If you find this helpful, give it a like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.